Okay, we're starting at 5.5 miles and we're riding this. We got a full battery. We're riding this throttle only and see how far she goes. So let's get it going. It's a nice morning. A little on the chilly side. But very nice. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie. You guys cannot see me, but I'm wearing a hoodie this morning because it's right at 62 degrees. It's supposed to warm up to about 75 degrees today, but I don't know. An awful cool morning. We're late in the morning too. So, but let's see how this ride goes. I hope I can get it all in today. That's the way I usually do it all in one day. I'm not going to talk the whole time. I'll probably have to turn you guys off for some of the ride. This is the same ride I take every bike for its distance ride, to see how far it'll go without pedaling. It's fairly flat, within 50 yards of, maybe 50 feet, 80 feet, up and down at the most. And I take all the e-bikes on this. This is the Aventon Pace 350 Next Gen. I'm not using it with the phone. I'm using my phone for my voice recorder, and it works pretty well. I'm down off volume. I took it down 2 notches from top volume. Hopefully that'll knock out some of the peaks on the voice or on the recording. Again, not something I can really hear with my hearing loss, but Russ is right, said, hey, turn it down a couple of notches and see what it does. So that's where we're at. We're trying that. I do have this bike tire pressure set at 46 pounds. And we're pushing probably 275 all dressed today. And we're going to see how far she goes. Remember, this is a 350 watt motor with 11.6 amp hours of battery. We're anticipating somewhere greater than 20. And we'll go all the way down here to where I normally go, and then we'll turn back and come back. And that right there will be about 14 miles, maybe 13 miles. We'll see. I know what this is right here, and we'll make sure the speedometer is correct. Up here we should be about 1.1. And yeah, this is a smaller frame bike for me. This bike fits Laura really well. The other bikes are larger. Even the KBO is a little larger, and that's something I want to talk to you guys about. So what I want to do is like I said, I can talk to you for 45, I can talk to you for an hour and a half that this is going to take, but you guys won't watch it all the way through. So yeah, so I'm full throttle right now. We're doing about 19.6 miles an hour. That is where it's supposed to be when we pass the bark dust place, 1.1 about, so we're good there. Yeah, like I said, I'd love to talk to you guys for forever, but it's not going to happen. You guys won't listen. E-bikes are kind of like motorhomes and RVs. So RVs are particular to the type you like and what you want to use, right? So like a motorhome is different than a fifth wheel, which is different from a trailer. And certain people have different things they like and don't like. Well, it's the same with e-bikes. E-bikes are the same. Hub drive, mid drive, the size of the bike, like this event here, is a little bit on the small side personally for me. I would prefer the bigger bike. But I didn't get this bike with that in mind. I got this bike in mind that I know it's a size that my wife would use versus a bigger bike. And if I get 10 or 12 or 14, I can't keep them all and ride them all. I'll ride them, and I'll test them, and I'll use them for a year or so, and then I'll give it to if there's people I love, I'll give it to the people I love. So with that in mind, it's that's where we're at. I don't want to trade this one out, because I think this one fits Laura very well, and I think she likes it enough that I don't know that she'd get mad at me for getting rid of it, but it's the one I think to replace her older bike in terms of its size and everything, and the swept back handlebars and everything. So remember, when you buy a bike, especially when you buy it offline or online, a couple things. Make sure you're looking at the size. Make sure you look at a lot of reviews. A lot of not reviews so much as reviews are good, and we're good about that. But also look at comments. If you're buying the bike for a lady, look at that comment that she has, or that the women have on the channel. Hey, it's a great fit. I'm 5'1". 125 pounds or 140 pounds. It fits me really well, blah, blah, that kind of thing. Oh, this is terrible. I can't, it does this, it does that. It doesn't fit my bottom parts real well when I step off, and the seat doesn't adjust. You got to look at all those things and keep in mind that, you're going to get some that are just going to be, it's obviously a giant man's bike with a like a cruiser, like my cruiser. If Laura got on my cruiser and you heard her say, "Oh, this is a great bike, fits me well," blah blah blah. No, it don't. My wife wouldn't do that, and you don't see her on this channel much because you just don't. But she's not going to sit there and say the cruiser fits her well when it doesn't. So some of it you're going to have to weed out. But I think if you read 50 to 100 comments, you'll get the gist of what the bike really is for you and how it'll work for you. The other thing you got to consider, and personally for me, I don't think it's a big consideration, but it is a consideration. People that buy online, you'll find some of them just really, I'm going to use the word complain because I can't think of a better word, but complain about, oh, I bought this bike online and I can't get it fixed anywhere and no one supports it, and I take it to my bike shop and they say we're not going to work on that, and I take it to my e-bike store and they say we're not going to work on that because you didn't buy it from us or we didn't sell it. Yeah, that probably happens, but in reality, much of this e-bike stuff is very similar to one another. Now, you may have a controller that's a little more proprietary, you may have a display that's a little more proprietary, and you may have a hub motor that not necessarily proprietary, but brand specific. If that's the case, and say you have a bad hub motor, you can replace hub motors. You can replace those, not crazy money, but again, not cheap. So just be aware you may struggle to find mechanics to work on it. So there's an awful lot of stuff on YouTube, how to fix stuff and how to do stuff, and it's not extremely difficult. For a lady who doesn't want to break her fingernails and get dirty, I understand, but it's not going to be. You'll be able to find someone. I'll give you my example. Before I got into e-bikes really hard, my caulk-off bike had a flat. And I was all worried about, oh crap, how do I change this out? You're not supposed to take it apart, and if I mess it up, I'm not going to have a ride for the bridge pedal in Portland. So I took it to a bike shop, and the manager of the bike shop is like, we're not supposed to, but yeah, I'll do it for you. Well, one of his assistant managers like, John, we can't do that. The managers frown on that, and if we break it, we're responsible, and blah 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 blah, and you can't do that. And he's like, you know, it's okay, I'm the manager, I'll take full responsibility. And I said to him, I'll just call him John because I don't know his name. So we're at 5 miles right now. But I said to him, I said, John, if you ruin it, I'll take responsibility for it. It's okay. All I need is it changed out. And you have the skill to change it out. So let's go ahead and change it out. And he said, no problem. And the assistant manager was just dogging him, berating him about it. And he said, it's fine, I'll do it. And the assistant manager walked off in a huff. The guy changed it out in like 10 minutes, and was not a big deal. Was no big deal. So they can do it. They have the skill set to do it. It's just whether or not they want to take the responsibility and liability of doing it. And in reality, you know, if you take it to them, it's something you can say, you know, hey, I'll relieve you of the liability. Could you please change out the tire? But again, none of this stuff is real hard. Get a few tools, 20 or 30 bucks worth, maybe 50 bucks worth, and have at it. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. But those are the things I would be concerned with when getting a bike online. And I don't think the latter that I just told you about is a big deal. 90% of the bikes are made in China, so don't go, oh, it's a Chinese bike. So what? The one you're buying at the bike store is made in China. Most likely, it's made in China. And when you, and this is my opinion, when you do that kind of volume, you know, whether it comes from 3 Chinese companies in China or they're made from, you know, 50 Chinese companies in China, they're very good at what they do. They are very good at making e-bikes. That's the thing with getting them online. Don't be afraid. They're pretty simple devices. You know, if you have a display go out, yeah, you know, if you can't get a replacement display, you may have a little bit of an issue. If you can't get it, you know, if you have a battery that goes bad, that's another thing. If you have a battery that goes bad, then you can you'll have to get a compatible battery. So I have my Kalkoff bike, which me and Laura both have them. First bike I ever got for a e-bike. It's a 2010, and hers is a 2010. I just charged hers up for the first time this year, actually, and it took the charge, held the charge. So, you know, when it says, hey, the battery's good for like 3 years, that's 3 years being used every day. You know, if it says, oh, it's 1,000, that's using it every day for like 3 years. It's a lot of time. So I wouldn't necessarily concern myself with that. As long as you got, you know, a decent battery. I don't even know that it's, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but, you know, on certain ones, there's, like this one I think has LG cells, or Panasonic cells. Not worried about this battery at all. I think my Kalkoff has Panasonic cells. Not worried about that at all. My other bikes, my big fat tire bikes, Magicycles, are Lishan batteries from China. I'm not worried about them. I've tested them. They work just fine. So, you know, if the company's proud of their product and they put it on their site, and you can research it some and see what kind of battery it is and how good they are, yeah, it'll be fine. I'm at 71%, and we're coming up on, well, we're at almost 7 miles. Okay, we are coming up to the turnaround point. You know, to the right is Banks, so I'm right at the. This is maybe the third of the way. So let's see how we do. Not going to stop and stand here at all. Don't need to. The seat on this bike, very comfortable. On the road, like I said, I don't use suspension typically on any of my bikes, other than the you know, a suspension post that comes with some of the bikes, and the fat tires have, you know, the cushion in the tires because they're fat. This one is a 2.2 inch wide tire, pressured at 46 pounds, and it's riding just fine, nice and smooth. You can feel the little bit of asphalt. This road's not been paved in a while. You can feel the little granulars in the asphalt, but nothing that's uncomfortable. The swept back handlebars on this bike are very nice. They feel really good. So, and again, you know, Aventon says this bike will do, you know, like 24 miles, probably with the average rider on it. You know, I know where they're getting their numbers. They're getting their numbers from, you know, the battery voltage times the amp equals the watts divided by the watts on the motor. Therefore, you get about 24 miles. And that's kind of the accuracy. Yes, that should be. But when you know, say I don't, you know, say it's supposed to be at 50 pounds of pressure in the tire instead of 45 or 46, and then you got a rider that's 160 pounds versus me, you know, 270, yeah, 275 with my clothes. It becomes a different scenario. It's a scenario that, you know, for you, if you're looking at this bike, the Pace 350 Next Gen, and you're a big person, you know, I would step up in frame size, typically, unless you're buying it for your smaller wife, and your smaller wife will get good mileage on this, and it's a good fit. But if it's for a bigger guy, yeah, I would say go ahead and upgrade. I wouldn't even. It's not an upgrade. They don't charge you more for it. Just go with the large frame or the medium large frame instead of the small medium frame. But the seat's comfortable. The ride's comfortable. You know, it's not a burner. It's not going to get you past. You know, like you see, it's 20 miles an hour right now on flat. It's not going to get you 22, 24, 25. Well, it gets you 25, 22 on a downhill a little bit, but it's not going to get you 25, 28 like maybe the Pace 500 would. And like I said, 24 miles an hour is oh, I got to go this way, is not for everybody. This is a nice pace, and for some people this might be a fast pace. I mean, it might be too fast. You may be a person that likes, let's say, 16, and maybe pressing it to 20. It's all good. All right, I got to quit talking, man, or else this is. We're already 30 minutes into it, and I've almost talked the whole time, so I got a lot of cutting out to do. Anyway, if this bike interests you, you know, go right to Aventon and buy it, or look locally. They have Aventon stores, Aventon resellers. Make sure you're getting it from someone that represents Aventon, unless you're buying used. Know what you're getting, but directly from Aventon, you're sure to get an Aventon licensed product. Now, I do not have an affiliate link. Well, I do. I sort of do, but I don't use I don't collect money from any e-bike reseller or any bike seller. It's not my game. It's not the thing I want. So just realize that it's not what I want. I want to review these bikes and have fun doing it, and have no obligation to anybody. I don't have an obligation to talk good or bad about this bike from Aventon. This is the only bike that came with no instructions to me. They didn't tell me what I had to do. They didn't say, you got to produce 3 videos, you got to produce this. They said, just review it. That was it. So that is very appreciative, and I was surprised, because Aventon is one of the bigger bike makers. Aventon is one of the bike makers that make a lot of product, sell a lot of product. So we are coming up on 10 miles now. We are 50% done with the battery. So it is certainly going to get me 20 miles, but we're gonna continue on. And you just do what you do. So if you, I don't know, I'll try to keep this in there. If you saw that bike that passed me, that was a Trek, T-R-E-K. It's a well-known brand in America. They were in bikes before e-bikes. But those are a lot of money. You're just paying because it was sold here at a bike store, and they took the 45 minutes to put it together. It comes in the same box. Comes with the front tire off. You got to mount the front tire. You got to mount the handlebars. You got to charge the battery. You got to tune it a little bit in terms of battery rotors on the brakes. Fill the tire. You know, there's some things to do, but you know, 30 minutes to an hour is all it takes. I got to think which was the hardest bike for me to install or to assemble. Oh man, I don't even know. I can't think of one that was difficult or hard to assemble. I think the hardest thing, it wasn't even hard, is installing the hydraulic brakes on the Magicycle Cruiser. The hardest thing I did. It wasn't hard, it's just time consuming. And this is where we're at. And so also another note on this bike. Thin tires, it's only 45, 46 pounds. This bike will be a lot easier to ride home if I run out of battery a few miles from home. So I'm not real concerned with that if it runs out, I can pedal home. I can do that on this bike. On a fat tire bike, it's hard. It's very hard because your road friction is a lot greater, and the bike is heavier. But that road friction is what gets you. I'm going to tip the camera up a little bit. Again, with the camera on your chest mount, it's hard to tell where it's seeing. You know, I don't have an expensive camera that I can throw on my phone and look and see where it's pointing, how it's viewing. I have to make an educated guess. And yes, I have made rides and videos that never got published because you're looking too much down at here, you're not seeing out there. Or you're looking too much out there and not seeing down here. I've made one of where I was mostly looking at the sky. That's not helpful, and no one would watch it, so you just delete it and say, well, that was a nice ride, and start over. My anticipation is somewhere around 20. So we got to go up a little bit more, and then we'll stop. We'll go right here. Right here. Lots of e-bikes out today, people. That was a little e-bike that went by me there. One of the people up here has an e-bike that is in front of me. It's a fat tire e-bike. I couldn't tell what it was. It kind of looked like a Hemaway. But yeah, e-bikes are becoming popular. That's a really good thing because that means the acceptance level is good. 25 point, it's going to make the 25.1, but will it make 25 point, will it make 26? I don't think so. Hard to say, but I don't think so. Again, full throttle, pretty ideal conditions in that this is a flat ride for this bike. There's not a lot of incline other than the on-ramp and one hill. And the hill was probably 50 or 60 feet tall with some of an incline, but we are currently 25.2 or 25.7. 25.7 is 20.2. This is a little bit uphill, then we'll go downhill, and then we'll struggle to go uphill, and I'll pedal it up that hill. So we'll call it at that, 25.2. And like any other e-bike, it's better, but it's not easy to pedal. Whew. I'm home, guys. I made it. Hour and 22 minutes.